Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the Farzy Show presented by Destination Retirement, DestinationRetirement.com, here from the Steven Singer Studios. My name is Mark Farzetta. 10-0. 10-0. The Philadelphia Phillies won over the Milwaukee Brewers yesterday. That is 6 in a row for the Phightin Phils, and that is 5 in a row under interim manager Rob Tomson, and I am just continuously giddy over it. I saw the movie Hustle. I loved it. More on that later. And the Eagles held a slew of press conferences yesterday. Well, Nick Sirianni spoke during right after practice, and he has gotten me even more excited for the season. Dave Zangaro will join the show for NBC Sports Philadelphia to give us all his insights about OTAs. And an interesting thing that OTAs happen, and you see video on the Eagles website every day, and it's posted every day. And what I always forget is that reporters are not always allowed at practice. I know that even during the season, they'll be allowed for like 15, 20-minute spurts at practice, and then they got to get out of there. And then they actually start with real installs, and they don't want word getting out about what they're going to. Ooh, he passed the ball. Don't let them know that we're going to pass the football. Oh, he ran. Don't let them know that we're going to run, and our let's get a block. They never want to give up game plan. So a lot of times reporters will leave 10 to 15 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes, really, after practice begins during the season. So that's not a rare thing. And in his other press conference recently, Nick Sirianni talked about how you guys didn't see it because you guys weren't here, whatever. But Dave Zangaro referenced that there's been 6 practices. They've only been allowed to go to 2 of them. For any pocket, any window of time, they've only been able to go to 2 of the 6. So everything that they're critiquing, everything that they're judging, everything that they're watching, everything they're going to take into training camp is all under the caveat of we've been to 2 of these practices, yet there's been 6, and the 2 we've been at have been a portion of those. So it's just kind of the way it goes with the Eagles and how they like to control their media coverage, which is what every NFL team does, in fairness. So it's not like it's just the Eagles banishing them, but we are in a very similar situation this year with the Philadelphia Eagles that we were last year, which is as far as the quarterback goes, we're still trying to decide that question, whether or not he's the quarterback of the future. And as of right now, we're all going to be hypercritical, and we'll be hypercritical when the season starts. We were hypercritical last year, and the Eagles were hypercritical as well. We have to be the same way because ultimately it's the same scenario. Will Jalen Hurts be good enough to tell the Eagles to ignore the incoming quarterback draft class? That will be the ultimate question. Whether or not he performs well enough to do that is up to him. We'll see how the season plays out, but here's what we know. The Eagles have surrounded him with weapons, and he has put in the work in the offseason to take that step forward. And listening to Nick Sirianni yesterday talk about Jalen Hurts, and listening to Dallas Goedert talk about Jalen Hurts' work ethic and how he's been a leader from jump, and he's even more of a leader now, and how he is just putting that work in the offseason. And Dallas Goedert himself went out there to Southern California to work out with Jalen Hurts to get more on the page as his quarterback for the upcoming season yet again. It shows you that these guys are also willing to work with this young man as he not only they try to get better, but he tries to get better to make the entire team better, which would ultimately make us all very, very happy as Philadelphia Eagles fans, as people that pull for this team to win. Jalen Hurts making that hard work pay off would mean a lot. And yesterday, Nick Sirianni got into that quite a bit about the improvement that he's seen in Jalen Hurts. Dave Zangaro will tell us about that. And there's a couple of specific things that Nick Sirianni got into that we'll talk about. And then also play calling. This was a big thing with Andy Reid. Like, we always wanted Andy Reid to take a step back with play calling. It was too much on his plate. This guy was a general manager, essentially, of the team while he was here. Imagine that. Someone in the front office more powerful than Howie Roseman. Andy Reid was the guy here as a general manager, as a head coach, as a play caller, as a mentor to a lot of these young players that really loved him as their head coach. So he had a lot on his plate. And, Andy, maybe take a step back from the play calling. Maybe the pass-happy stuff is a little too pass-happy, even for today's NFL. And he never did it. He occasionally, hey, Brett Childress, you call a couple plays here. Occasionally, he would have his offensive coordinators call some plays here or there. Marty Morningweg certainly would do that from time to time. But it was always under Andy Reid's umbrella. I really respect, if this actually happens, I really respect Nick Sirianni for putting any ego aside and saying Shane Steichen is going to be my play caller. It doesn't make me feel any better about the offense. I don't know what kind of playing caller Shane Steichen is, but from what Nick Sirianni said yesterday, they're on the same page. And he might have overreached in how he explained that. We'll get into that in a little bit. But I'd like to really start sinking my teeth into the Philadelphia Phillies, ladies and gentlemen. And if you missed this game yesterday, you missed, let me bring back a really old phrase. You missed a real humdinger of a game. Bryson Stott's home run in this ball. First off, he's a totally different player under Rob Tomson than he was under Joe Girardi. And I don't think, and I don't want to paint Joe Girardi as some like evil villain in some Marvel movie. Like, I'm not looking at him as Thanos, all right? I don't think that he's anything like that. I just think that for whatever reason, Joe Girardi and this Philadelphia Phillies clubhouse did not mesh. It was not a good fit. Not in the least. And from what I saw yesterday, from how Bryson Stott was swinging the bat, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper's been matching pretty much all year, Kyle Schwarber, seeing these guys play the way they've been playing. Aaron Nola pitched a phenomenal game, and we'll get to that. But seeing this game play out the way it did, seeing the last 6 games play out the way they have, I get the feeling that the Phillies really, 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 really did not like playing for Girardi. For whatever reason. I don't think they hated the guy. I just think they either liked him or maybe they didn't respect him. And whatever he was doing to push buttons to get this team to get going, he just couldn't find a way to sustain it, even a little bit. And with this umbrella lifted off the Phillies that we got into yesterday, with this dark cloud lifted off the Phillies like we got into yesterday, when we talked about 5 wins in a row. Now it's 6. They look like a completely different team. And the way Bryson Stott went with that pitch for his 2-run home run yesterday, it was a short, compact swing that was Utley-esque in my mind. The pitch was riding him inside. He went with the pitch, brought his hands in, turned on it, and belted it. Home runs are accidents, and that was a great accident yesterday by Bryson Stott. He did everything he could to just try to get a piece of that baseball and ended up sailing out of the ballpark. Not a little, it just barely went over the wall. But that went into the second row, baby, in right field. That's what you want to see from this young guy as he starts to put it together. And whatever it was under Joe Girardi, he wasn't able to put it together. Now it seems like he's either getting a new wind under his sails or in his sails, whatever it is, but he looks a lot more comfortable out there at the plate, and he seems like he's not a guy who is pressing. He's letting a guy he's a guy who's letting the game come to him, which is where you get into trouble when you're a young player. I did this at this level, I can do it at this level, I just do this, and you really start pressing, and he doesn't look like that at all. It looks like new life has been breathed into this team. When you fire a manager, when you make a managerial change, really in any walk of life, because these athletes, folks, they're not really unlike us. Any manager you might have in any walk of life, if the guy's a lackadaisical good, why should I give a damn if he doesn't give a damn? Why should I hustle up if he doesn't care if I don't hustle up? Like, it's any branch of life. This applies. And for whatever reason, the Phillies and whatever Joe Girardi was selling, they weren't buying. And whatever it was made Bryson Stott, I feel, start pressing. I did this at the minor league level. Now I can do this at the major level. And start really pressing. And he looks like a relaxed guy out there. He looks like a ball player. And best of it, he looks like a professional ball player. He looks like a big league ball player. And I'm not saying Joe Girardi was browbeating the guy and how the hell do you put up numbers like that? You're out of the lineup. No, I'm just saying, whatever the message was, it wasn't working. Hiring Rob Tomson, bringing in Rob Tomson as the interim manager, in a way, gives this club back to the players. It's not about this big name, Joe Girardi, former Yankee skipper, World Series champion a few times over. No, it's not about that anymore. It's about the players. And Rob Tomson is an interim guy. He's going to come in and push the saloon doors open and start calling out guys left and right. And this is my show now, and I'm running it. No, having an interim guy really, I think, regardless of who it might be, allows the players to have a little bit more control, a little bit more sway. Because then it comes down to seniority. Whoever the manager is, sure, whatever. He makes a lineup card. We all know that. But when it comes to the rest of this team, it feels like that weight has been lifted off their shoulders and they're taking responsibility for themselves. Because no one's looking at Rob Tomson as the guy who's going to come in here. Oh, there's a guy who's going to lead into a World Series. No, it's going to be about Bryce Harper leading this team to a World Series. This gives the team back to the players. And so far, they have taken it and they have run with it. It's a totally different ball club. Now, away from the chemistry issues or the other things, the off-the-field stuff that obviously has a huge impact on the field, I've told you Bryce and Stott, how relaxed he looks, how like a big league. 4 hits for him yesterday. How about that for the kid? Then you look on top of that, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper, and then I got the guy that I just thought was an absolute star of the show yesterday. It was a joy watching him work this game the way he did in Aaron Nola. I was blown away with his performance yesterday. It's such a good sign. He goes 8 innings, strikes out 6, 8 shutout innings, by the way, using 103 pitches. 103 pitches in this start last night. And he just continues to look good. San Francisco obviously had his number, but really 2 of his last 3 starts, 1 run. That's a sight for sore eyes to see him to be able to put this many starts already in a young season where he's giving you quality outings. He is giving you strikeouts. He's giving you control. And he has been, for the most part, a guy that you could rely on so far this season. That's what you want to continue to see from Aaron Nola. I think we can all agree on that. But yesterday, oh my goodness, his slider, pretty much all his breaking pitches, his fastball, everything had life. Everything had movement. The breaking pitches, though, exceptional. When it comes to that slider breaking across the plate, he had a couple of different guys fooled on that yesterday where they were out there golfing or they were out there going fishing, trying to just flail at pitches left and right because he was doing such a great job of keeping them off balance. I thought he and JT Realmuto were on the same page yesterday, and I just thought overall from Aaron Nola is obviously one of his best starts of the year, talking about an 8-inning, 0-run performance from Aaron Nola. I'll take this every single outing, as I know we all would, but the control that he had was impeccable. When you see guys off balance as much as they were yesterday, you know Aaron Nola was doing something special out there on the hill. And that's a lineup. It's a lot of home runs. As they were talking about a lot yesterday on the broadcast, the Brewers can all of a sudden break it open at any point in the game. Aaron Nola did not allow them to do it. And how about this? Run support. Well, run support for Aaron Nola, especially early in the ball game. That's not really something you see every day. So that was great. Overall, I just think this Phillies team has a brand new aura about them. And I think ultimately, instead of taking on the persona of the manager, as clubs do in any sport, as teams do in any sport, I think they're really going to take on the persona of Bryce Harper. Because I think Bryce Harper has been great since he has been here in Philadelphia, telling the front office, hey, we need some more guys up here. We need to trust some young guys, Bryce and Stott. Hey, we need to sign, this JT Realmuto guy, sign JT Realmuto. He's been great at all that. But I think last year when Rhys Hoskins was off the team because he was injured after the surgery, I think Bryce Harper came in and took the entire team over. It went from just being the guy, the voice from the clubhouse to the front office. I think it was the guy in the clubhouse whose voice was the loudest. And make no mistake about it. This isn't just Bryce Harper's team now. This is Bryce Harper's franchise now. And instead of trying to take on the persona of the manager, I think the rest of this team is going to take on the persona of Bryce Harper. And I think for the most part, even coming into this year, that started. Rhys Hoskins, you saw a little bit more fire from him. Bryson Stott's obviously up here, who's his boy, as we all know the story there, a couple of Vegas guys. But ultimately, you have seen this team play with a lot of passion over the last, I would say, 5 months, going back to last year, that they have been playing, and that's been because of Bryce Harper. Now, with him producing an MVP, obviously another one in his back pocket, he has got this team really taking on his persona. Rob Tomson is the guy that's going to allow that to happen. Managerial spot, kind of relinquishing that command. This is the read I get from watching these games. This is the read I get from listening to Rob Tomson, listening to these guys like Bryce Harper after these games. It's a much more relaxed clubhouse, and the intensity is up there when it needs to be. And that, to me, is what Bryce Harper is. This is the Bryce Harper Philadelphia Phillies. The era has already begun, but now I think it's really taking to that clubhouse, and that's what I ultimately want to see as this season continues. I'll ask for it again. Give us those meaningful games in September. Don't disappear when the first snap happens with the Philadelphia Eagles season getting underway. I want to jump over now to the Eagles because there was a couple of things. I was watching some highlights of practice yesterday, and I really want to know what's going on with Jalen Hurts. And it seems like what we have seen so far, what the coaches have seen so far, what the media has seen so far, is this guy just didn't go to Southern California to shake Tom House's hand, have a lunch, write down a few pointers on a napkin, and then go, okay, I'll do that now. No, this guy went out there and he worked the grind. He knows what's at stake. Another year, at least, of being the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. The chance to be the franchise guy going forward. He goes into the season, goes into the offseason, knowing what he needs to work on, his accuracy, digesting what's in front of him, breaking it down, and then being able to take what the defense is giving him. Dave Zangaro makes another interesting point when he joins us in a second here. But already the coaches are starting to see what happened in the offseason, the work in the offseason start to pay off on the practice field. That's step one. There's many, many steps to go. Live action, hitting, actual games. But if you take one step and a step of 20, that's still one step. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Yesterday was this practice stretch here is just one bite. But here is what Nick Sirianni has seen from Jalen Hurts when it comes to his improvement.
Jalen is, in my opinion, is more comfortable in the offense, right? And that's just the part of the process the second year, right? He knows where the receivers are going to be versus different looks. He knows where to go with the football a little bit quicker. We've, and we've done our job as coaches, and I don't want to say we've done a good job, but what we've done as coaches is figured out, what he likes and what he's good at and all these different things. So we're just accumulating those reps. And like we talked about, I think you guys asked me a couple last year was, some of these quarterbacks that have been played for so long, they're in year 15, 16, 17, they're getting better at reading it. Why? Because they've seen the play over and over and over again. Well, that's the same progression that Jalen has. And what Jalen, the reason you know that about Jalen, the reason we know Jalen's going to continue to get better is because of the character and the football character and the personal character that he has. This is just the type of guy that's going to reach his maximum potential because of all the off-the-field qualities he has. I've also noticed, just the crispness of the drop, right? It's been, the fundamentals, his fundamentals have improved.
Such a minute, minuscule detail, the crispness of the drop. But to me, what that's all about isn't just footwork. It's about timing of all of it. Taking your 3-step drop, taking your 6 to 7-step drop, whatever it might be, scanning the field at the same time, and then taking what's given to you, reading the right route, delivering the football accurately. That all starts with your drop. And if he's doing that better, if his mechanics are better, and he's able to keep his footwork down and his eyes downfield, his eyes looking to his targets, that's great. I love hearing that. The stuff about is obvious. The second year in the offense is the first time he's had the second straight offense in like 6 years, so he should be a lot more comfortable now. Was the first thing Nick Sirianni went to. But as far as the work in the offseason, they're already seeing it pay off on the practice field. Now, who's he playing against? That doesn't matter. We're not talking about problems being posed to Jalen Hurts anymore. We're talking about the problems that he had last year and him working to correct them. And that starts at practice. Just getting a glimpse of it. It starts at practice. Oh, this drop's a little bit more crisp. Oh, okay. Accuracy, we'll get there when it really matters. That's ultimate when it matters. But when it comes to everything else, when it comes to just seeing the work pay off, crisp drop, accurate football, let's get there. And then, of course, digesting what's in front of him, breaking it down, and having a much better grasp of the offense in his second year in this offense. Put them together. Put it all together. And then add all the weapons that Howie Roseman went and got him in the offseason. Put all that together. The motivation, the winning a franchise job, the motivation there. This could be a very, very special year for the Eagles. And to use this tired cliche, on paper, they have every reason to take a huge step forward this year. In year 2 of Jalen Hurts as your starting quarterback. That's pretty special. Now, there is one change. Nick Sirianni. has decided he's not going to be doing the play calling. Okay. Instead, Shane Steichen, offensive coordinator, who I find almost as intense as Nick Sirianni. He's a little bit more. He's a little scarier. Like his eyes kind of pierce through you. Where Nick Sirianni's like, I gotta tell you about this party I was just at. Like that's Nick Sirianni. I feel like Nick Sirianni's the whole demeanor is based on like he's the guy that you didn't go to the party, you had other plans that were boring, and you bumped into him the next day. He's like, oh man, I gotta tell you the party. It was amazing. We were doing keg stands. Oh man, I won beer pong. I had a 20-game run at beer pong. Nobody could beat me. And I'll just tell you that it was incredible. And Shane Steichen is more of he's a quick hand gesture. For the people on the podcast, I'm doing really quick hand gestures like Shane Steichen. And he's really So I'm interested to see how their personalities are different when it comes to the play calling. But Nick Sirianni says that he didn't have an issue surrendering play calling. In fact, it was just simply what was best for the team. Dave Zangaro, our guest today, actually asked him about that yesterday.
To give up the play calling, given that it seems like that's something an offensive coach kind of strives for when you're working your way up to have that ability from an ego standpoint.
Yeah, no, I think that's where a lot of problems happen in the NFL is from an ego standpoint, right? Is if like you work at what's the best thing is to do. Like if I said I'm going to stand on a table and run these plays that we ran with Phillip Rivers, well, that's because that's what we do. That's an ego thing to me, right? And so it's the same thing here. What I felt like I needed to make a change in the sense of how to free me up to be a better head coach. And I had a good assistant to call the plays, and so that's what I went with, and so yeah, no hesitation there at all, no ego thing there at all. Shane's done a great job, and I'm imagining we do what we're supposed to do and win games like we were paid to do to come here. Shane will get an opportunity to be a head coach, and then we rediscuss it again.
Sirianni is that they're all very much on the same page. And I feel like there's not enough coaches in the NFL that will acknowledge how much of a hindrance play calling is to try and get the team ready for the next play. You got to have your hand in everything. And one thing I also really like about Nick Sirianni is how many times he'll say my name is on it. Like Nick Sirianni is a former college wide receiver. We all know this story, whatever. But he's not expected to have anything to do with the defense. And even after games where Jonathan Gannon's play calling seems suspect, where the defense as a whole seems suspect, Nick Sirianni, give him a lot of credit. He was just like, well, yeah, John, you got to talk to John or anything like that. Hey, I'm the head coach of this football team. Everything that happens, my name is on it. No matter what, it all comes down to me as the head coach. You can say how much I don't have anything to do with the defense, how it wasn't part of my career, but no. Anything on the Philadelphia Eagles that goes on, defense, special teams, whatever it might be, hell, defensive line play. I'm the head coach. My name's Nick Sirianni. My name is on it. So I don't think he's going to try to meddle in everything and try to control it, but I think he's going to try to help make a decision that's best for the football team. And I think he feels almost at times play calling can handcuff him from doing that. Now, what he goes on to say after that is that in that cut right there, what he goes on to say is that, guys, I'm making the game plan, basically. I'm not going to dictate however these do. This is still a team effort. But ultimately, as the head coach, as the guy who still very much has his hand in everything here and his name on everything here, I'm still the guy that's going to be making the final decisions. I'm still the guy that during the week is going to be coming down with the final say on that game plan. So don't be distracted by the idea on game day if I'm not calling plays when the things we wanted to exploit from their defense was all designed during the week, which is the head coach. I'm the head chef in that kitchen. So that's really what he was getting into. But to even get away from it on play calling on game days, I think is a huge thing for him to sacrifice, because I think a lot of coaches look at that and they hold on to it like it's their shiny new pet and they can't get rid of it. No matter what. Oh, no, don't you come near this. This is mine. If I give this away, what do I do here? Well, apparently, Nick Sirianni, what do? I do a lot of things. I do everything. How about that? And then he's also said he wasn't worried about his the play calling. He wasn't worried about whether or not him or Shane Steichen were going to be on the same page. Here's Nick Sirianni on a very beautiful tribute to his offensive coordinator and play caller, Shane Steichen, and how he's not concerned about surrendering play calling to him. Take a listen.
And just remember this, like the plays are just, again, I'm on there. I'm on the headset talking about the next group of plays. The plays are discussed of what's coming up. Okay. Shane, I want to see this and this. What do you have in mind? This and this? Ooh, I like that. What if we did this? Like that communication is happening. The next, like you don't go into the next set and go, all right, here we go. I got the first one, but I'm rolling the dice on it. That is communicated through it, right? And so, but there is times where there's a situation that pops out of nowhere, right? And that Shane's got to think quick. And most of the time, again, because I just can't even explain to you how much time we spend together and how much time we spend together in the past, the thought process is the same. He knows exactly what I want on a 3rd and long at the 40-yard line. He knows exactly what I want. What's that game show where you go behind and then, I don't even remember, but we would write down the same exact play. Yeah, the Newlywed. Me and Shane and I, yeah.
What's that game show with the guy where they know each other so well? The Newlywed. Yeah, Shane and I are married. We got married. It's a beautiful off-season ceremony. Wife's totally cool with it. You know what? Point taken, Coach. Point taken. You guys know each other so well that it's like you're married. All right, Shane. What's your favorite place to make whoopee? I won't answer that with Nick Sirianni. So we were on the Newlywed game. Me and Shane. It was really great. You decided you had to study, and we were at the Newlywed game, and we won $1,000. And we're going on a cruise in July, right before the season. It's gonna be great. Anyway, we're gonna do a game. We're not gonna do a game show on the. And now it's time to play. No. All right. This is what we're gonna do during the regular season, and I was thinking about this, and I might even introduce it. We're gonna do a sitcom on this show, and then we're going to call it Seriously Sirianni, where it's just Nick Sirianni talking about the most mundane things in his super excited voice. And I definitely noticed this. Nick Sirianni has Family Guy brain. I respect that about him, because as someone with Family Guy brain, he is just all over the place, man. He's all over the place. Hey, what's Jalen Hurts' improvements in the offseason? What are they like? Let me tell you what I like about Skittles. Skittles are amazing. Like, they're my favorite ones. I really like the green ones. They're really unpopular, but I really like them. Like, I just feel like that's kind of how his brain operates, and I can certainly relate to that. So that's what Nick Sirianni's got going on. That's how excited he is about Jalen Hurts. Before we get to Dave Zangaro, I was going to save this for the morning rush, but I wanted to make sure I introduce this before we get to our chat check a little bit later in the show. Yesterday, I watched the movie Hustle, Adam Sandler's Hustle. And as the movie was playing and I'm watching, it's like 2 hours. As I'm watching this movie, I'm consistently thinking about, are people like, is this movie just for Philadelphia? Like, other people are getting this on, like it's on Netflix. There's people who've never been to Philadelphia. There's people who've never watched a Sixers game. There's like people, this isn't just for us. It was so amazingly Philly-centric that I was like, Adam Sandler wants to make money from the rest of the world on this, right? Like, that's how this, right? He wants the rest of people to see this? Because I felt like there were so many hat tips to Philadelphia, so many salutes to Philadelphia, so many Philadelphia references that it was like, man, like, I don't know if anyone else is going to get this. Now, there's a broad storyline here that I think appeals to everybody. I've seen the comparison from a lot of people. John Clark, I think, put it out there. It's like the basketball Rocky. I saw my buddy Graf, who has been on the show, Graf Eggers. He put it out there saying that it was like Creed, but with basketball, you know, and it's kind of the same thing. Like, this movie, Philadelphia, like, there's been movies where Philadelphia was a supporting actor, basically, where there were so many great shots of Philadelphia in these other movies. There's like, oh, Philadelphia looked great in the movie. Philadelphia wasn't some supporting actor in this movie, Hustle. They were a leading role in this movie. Everything from the Federal Donuts t-shirts to what you've seen in previews, so I'm not spoiling. Everything from parks they played at to areas they worked out in. Everything was about Philadelphia in this movie, except for that part where they went to Spain and he got a kid, whatever. The main character. But for me, I just loved it. Like, as a movie, I loved it. As someone from this area, someone who lives in Philadelphia, I loved it. I thought it was just a great movie, and every little wink and nod with a reference to Philadelphia, I was there for. And it's almost like for people outside that are just huge basketball fans, just Adam Sandler fans or whatever, that they're going to watch this movie, I want to write a list of how many Philly references, like how many inside jokes, if you will, were in this movie. I really loved it. I thought Adam Sandler was great in it. Love the storyline. Again, love how Philly looked. I recommend highly to see this movie because it. I will say it's people that compare it to Rocky. I compare it to the first Rocky. That's what I'll compare it to, more so than anything else. But man, I love this. I loved it. It's a rewatch for me. It's absolutely a rewatch. So I highly recommend. Go ahead and see. Tyvita, I did all right. No spoilers, right? I didn't really no spoilers. The only thing I referenced specifically was the guy was from Spain and the Federal Donuts, the T-shirts. That's all. That's it. Oh, and in the end, everybody dies. But other than that, it was a great movie. No, I'm kidding. Adam Sandler was the bad guy. No. Anyway. Ooh. Nope, not going to say anything. That's it. That's where I end it. I'm just going to tell you I love you. I love the movie. I do love you. But I love the movie and that let's play the Newlywed Game. I love the movie and I recommend it. That's what I will say. Let me tell you about the great people. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, of Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Mike Seibert, my man Pots and Pans. Mike Seibert is a retirement income certified professional at Destination Retirement LLC and a partner of 1847 Financial and an advisor for Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies fans only. Maybe next year, the Flyers. When it comes to long-term savings, don't give up the current enjoyment of your income. Not for retirement. The answer here is to have income streams in retirement. So it only makes sense then to understand how retirement income streams work so that you can direct savings in ways that give you the highest income when you retire. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Is the objective just to get to the top of the mountain, or is the objective to get to the top of the mountain and then safely back down the mountain? Safely back down the mountain. Going up the mountain is your accumulation phase. Down the mountain is your distribution phase. These are the different phases of your financial life, and each should be addressed separately. This month, let's talk about college planning. We all know that college is expensive. Well, have you ever thought about how it will affect your retirement? I'm sure you have. But let Mike Seibert let you figure out and help you figure out how you can best keep your income streams going. Let Mike show you an efficient way to help pay for your kids' college education and still retire on your own terms. Your first step is to avoid starting your growth cycle over again by depleting accounts like 529s for big expenses like college. You don't want to lose your position in your growth cycle and have to start over because you can't get that time back. Instead, set yourself up with the ability to use vehicles that you can take money out of without starting your growth cycle over again. Find out how your annual retirement savings can help your college savings. How your college savings can help your annual retirement savings. Let Mike show you and open up for you a portal in Retirement Analyzer. Then use the software to help you navigate through the different phases of your financial life. For questions or to set up a meeting with Mike, email him at gobirds@1847financial.com or call his office at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. You can also visit his website at destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds, ladies and gentlemen. How about my man Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers? Right there at the other corner of 8th and Walnut and Jewelers Row. For over 40 years, Steven Singer has been helping Philadelphia with the love business. That is Steven Singer Jewelers. That's what he always says. I'm in the love business. So what does he do? He likes to show you the love as his customer. First off, you get treated like family when you walk in the door at the other corner of 8th and Walnut. A real jewelry expert walks you through everything. And here's the real treat. The perfect price. So when you walk in there, oh man, they marked this up so much. How far can I mark this down? How far can I negotiate it down? Steven Singer, you're not going to worry about that. Compared to other jewelers, forget about it. You're already getting the deal. When you walk in the door, you're getting the perfect price. So you don't have to worry about, the guy next to me, he or she negotiated better than me. They're getting a better deal. No, everyone's getting the same deal. Oh, they had a coupon. Oh, they had a discount. Oh, they had a promo code. No, everyone. The promo code is that it's Thursday, and you walk into Steven Singer Jewelers, you're going to get treated beautifully. That's what the perfect price guarantee is all about at Steven Singer Jewelers. Other jewelers, you know what they like to say? I hate Steven Singer, just for that reason. They're trying to make the biggest buck off you they can. Steven Singer? No. Just wants to buy a beautiful, sparkling, dazzling diamond that will wow whoever you're buying it for, or wow you. Treat yourself every once in a while. So visit the other corner of 8th and Walnut, Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every day. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Let's jump on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Talk to our good friend Dave Zangaro about all things Philadelphia Eagles from OTAs. Joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line from NBC Sports Philadelphia, a man that has one of the best avatars in all of Twitter, as far as I'm concerned. You can catch him on Eagle Eye Podcast, all things NBC Sports Philly, including this latest article, which you can access right here via the old Twitter verse as well. Our friend Dave Zangaro. What's up, Dave?
What's up, man? You know what's funny? So I had that's been I have to find a new profile photo.
No, absolutely not.
Well, I need another good one. So the one before that was me interviewing Jordan Mailata, which was really funny. I think it was John McMullen took that photo. It was Jordan's his rookie year, and it's just hilarious because I'm looking up, like feet up in the air. So that was a good one. I need another good one.
Okay. Yeah. That's great. No, my favorite thing is when Jordan Mailata picked you up, put you in his breast pocket, and then went to see a movie. That was my favorite part.
Good.
First off, I know you're a man of many adventures. And before we talk anything football, what has been your latest adventure? Were you to Sri Lanka? Did you go to Tibet? You spend like 7 years there?
No.
What's going on?
I don't have anything major planned. In February, I got away a little bit. Went to California. Went to like Joshua Tree in Death Valley. That was fun.
Oh wow! Okay.
And then in later this summer, I'm going out to Washington State. I have a buddy who lives out there, so we're gonna go romping around, some camping, some hiking, maybe some backpacking. It'll be fun.
Very nice. That is awesome, man. Good for you, and I hope you get a chance to enjoy it. Sorry that I got to talk football now, but OTAs, all that fun stuff. I'm seeing all this stuff from Jalen Hurts. We'll get to the press conference, but I want to start with what matters most, and that is Jalen Hurts' accuracy, Jalen Hurts' mechanics. We all know he's got a great work ethic. He's certainly worked his butt off this entire offseason. What have you seen from him to give you a little bit more confidence maybe into what he could do in the upcoming season?
Sure. I mean, we have to preface it by saying they only had 6 OTA practices. We were able to watch 2 of them. So we're talking about it's a very limited sample size. What I will say is the 2 days we saw some pretty good signs. Last week, the day we watched, he was very accurate, very, very accurate. And then today, or I should say Wednesday, he did some deep balls. It was he hit back-to-back deep balls. One was a John Hightower, one was a Quez Watkins. But really the most impressive throw to me, there was one where, like, in a real game, it would have been dead probably, but he rolled to his right. There was cover. It would have been a cover sack. There's like nothing open. He rolls to his right, buys some time, which, hey, in a real game, he might have the shot to do. And he throws across his body to Greg Ward, 25 yards on a rope, and hit him. And that's a tough throw to make, and he made it. And there's so much talk about him and the arm strength. Like, is he strong enough? I think he's strong enough. He's not like he's not Josh Allen, but you don't need to be Josh Allen. You don't need to have an arm like that. You just have to have an effective arm. And I think his arm is good enough. I do. It's just some of the issues we've seen on deep balls in his career. To me, it's a timing issue more than it is a deep ball issue. It's the ball has to be out. And really, that's the next step in his career. And we can't really see too much of that in OTAs. I think what we saw was good. The footwork looks good. The release looks fine. But the next step in his career is, and I've said this about him for a while, he needs to throw with anticipation a little bit better. And there's a difference in accuracy. Sometimes the completion percentage doesn't really tell you the whole story about accuracy because, and this is just an example, right? A guy's running a slant and you hit him, but he has to slow down and catch the ball, and it's still a completed pass, and it still counts toward your completion numbers. But really, the spot for that ball is ahead of him. You lead him, or you throw him open, and then he gets some yards after the catch. And we need to see Jalen hit those throws more consistently. And I think he would admit that too. You can't. It's not good enough to throw to an open receiver in the NFL if you're going to be a franchise quarterback. You have to be able to throw guys open. You have to be able to have that anticipation and release the football and have some trust in your receivers. And we'll see if he gets there because we know he's working hard. No one's questioning that. And that's kind of the answer from everyone when you talk about Jalen Hurts. It's like, we know he's going to get better because he's going to put the work in. And I believe that. The question is, where's the ceiling? What's that work going to yield? And we don't know the answer to that yet.
Well, as we know, the weapons are supposed to be around him in the upcoming season. And to use a tired cliche, if they stay healthy, they'll have plenty of weapons around. I need to credit you something here with Dave. Somehow, magically, while I was on vacation, sitting outside enjoying a espresso in the fine town of Paris, France. You may have heard of it. And I'm watching an Eagles press conference of Jordan Davis. My wife wanted to go shopping and do a thing. I let her go. But she walked away. I was like, let me just watch this real quick. She said, sure. So I'm watching it, and everyone's asking Jordan Davis about food and cannolis, apparently. And he's like, I had a great cannoli. I couldn't remember the Dante and Luigi. He's talking about the food. He's talking about cannoli. He's talking about crushing barbecue. He's talking about all this stuff. And cheesesteaks and all that stuff. And then you jump in and be like, perfect segue, because I knew somebody was going to say it. And when I heard you in the next question, I go, here it comes. And you go, so about keeping your weight down, Jordan? It was so perfectly timed, and Jordan had fun with it as well. Everyone was laughing. It was great. But he does look slimmer. He does look a little bit more like a force to be reckoned with as opposed to a just huge human being.
Yeah, first off, we're already getting a pretty good sense of his personality to the point where I felt comfortable making that joke to a man who could crumble me up in a ball and throw me in the trash can. So, he seems like a fun guy. I think Philly fans are really gonna like him. He's kind of a jolly giant, and he's gonna be fun in that respect. He needs to watch his weight in the NFL. He was 345 when he got to rookie mini camp, and he said he wants to get down into the 330s. And it's not just about like cutting weight. It's about doing it the right way and kind of transforming his body a little bit. He could get away with being what he was in college, but at this level, to maximize his potential, he really has to get with Ted Rath, the director of sports performance, and all the trainers, the nutritionists, and really figure out a plan that works for him. And because there were some, as good as a player as he was in college, there were some signs that he would get worn down in some pretty big moments. And you can't have that. And one of the parts of his answer that I really appreciated was that, he basically said, I'm a pro now. I'm getting paid to do this. This is my job. And I think that's a huge distinction. And look, I know playing in the SEC and playing for Georgia is about as close as you can get to still like being in college, but also like, all right, football is your job. Mm-hmm. But it was like, he had to go to class, and he has other responsibilities, whereas he's literally getting paid to be in shape now. So I think that's a big difference. And the fact that he's kind of embraced it bodes pretty well for him, because I think they have to find that sweet spot for him where he's got to be massive because that's what he is, but it's about finding that perfect blend of just being this monster, but also being slender enough and agile enough to really let that elite athleticism shine through. So they're playing with that. And I don't even think the plan might change. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're going to want to see how he moves. They're like, all right, let's get him down to 335 with this body composition. What's it look like? How's he playing? Is this the best to maximize it? And they, like, right now they think they know what it is, but it could change, and that's fine because he's still such a young guy. But it was very encouraging to hear how serious he, after the jokes were over, how serious he was to actually care about it. Because I think that's, look, for every player, it matters, but for a guy that big and that position, it matters even more.
Sure. I don't mind so much. He's crushing some cannoli here in June.
Yeah, we get a lot of cannoli. Yeah,
exactly. Now this defense. I mean, we'll talk a lot about Jalen Hurts and all that stuff, but this defense could be going over a huge makeover, roster wise, personnel wise. It's already happened. Schematically, could we be talking about the 3-4 defense? Is that pretty much the way it's going to be? What do you expect to see from that scheme from Jonathan Gannon going into year 2 with him calling defensive plays?
Yeah, I think a lot of the personnel they brought in kind of hints toward more 3-4, but they're still going to run 4-3, and they're going to have different fronts. And it's really what he's wanted to do since he got here. He wants to be, it's such a buzzword now, but he wants to be multiple.
Right.
He really does. It's not like coach speak from him. He looks at that Rams team under Brandon Staley, and when Brandon Staley was still before they won Super Bowl, but Brandon Staley got a head coaching job based on what he did with the Rams and how they were really able to kind of game plan week to week based on their opponents. And that's what the Eagles want to do. They're still going to run 3-4. They're going to run 4-3. I think the signs are pointing toward more 3-4 than we saw last year. Last year, it was really more of a change of pace for them. It wasn't like you could tell they were still in that transition period. And I don't think it's going to be like all 3-4. I've heard some people wonder and maybe worry about that. They're still going to be in 4-man fronts too, but they're going to have the ability to switch back and forth. And a lot of these players are pretty versatile. Like you look at even Fletcher Cox. I mean, he can play multiple positions on that line, and really every player can. I mean, Jordan Davis obviously isn't going to play much at the end spot. He's not going to be a 5 technique very often, but here and there they can do it. They have Josh Sweat and Derek Barnett, who are defensive ends, but they can play as a stand-up rusher. Today in practice, we saw Derek Barnett drop into coverage because those overhang players are going to need to do that on occasion. And Hassan Reddick, the presence of him, last year in that Sam spot, they had Jannard Avery. You're not going to do the same things with Jannard Avery that you're going to do with Hassan Reddick. It just changes the complexion of the defense. From a talent standpoint, think about who they brought in. I mean, Hassan Reddick, Kazir White, Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, James Bradbury. Those 5 players can completely change what they do defensively.
It really is insane. It makes me look, I'm with a lot of people in this city where offense is fun and it's flashy, but like when you get to the nitty-gritty, you just want to know that you have a hard-nosed defense, whatever. And seeing the makeover that this defense has had is just like, it does make me giddy. It does make me just have I can't wait. I can't wait for September, mainly because of what you're going to be seeing from the defense. And I think the main reason for that is that there's going to be frustration surrounding Jalen Hurts. Everything he does. Like you were just talking about 2 practices you got to watch, and we're all going to be breaking it down and under scrutiny continuously. But everything he does, it's going to be under a very similar limelight that it was last year and microscope that it was last year, which was, okay, are you Mr. Right or are you Mr. Right now? Are you going to be good enough to be the franchise guy, or are the Eagles going to use their upcoming draft picks, which last year was 3, this year is 2? Well, at least that's how the season was. Are you going to be good enough to make this franchise ignore the idea of drafting a quarterback in the first round? That's going to take so much scrutiny and a lot of energy out of all of us. But the defense is like, hey, guys, just bring it together. There's, be a top 10 defense again, at least in the upcoming season. We'll all feel better about the following year.
Yeah, and it should be fun. I mean, there's no reason they shouldn't be better. And, I think Jonathan Gannon last year, and look, I didn't love a lot of what he did. I thought that some of his game plans weren't great. I thought he was too passive at times, but there's this idea from a lot of fans that I see that he's just not a good coach. And that seems crazy to me. I mean, there were moments last year that were frustrating. Absolutely. But he's a pretty good coach. I mean, there's a reason 3 teams interviewed him to be a head coach.
It's amazing.
This offseason. And now let's really get a chance to judge him, because he has the players. And look, if they're not a better defense, then by all means, he deserves blame, right? Like, sure. But now the blame feels fair. Last year, what was he working with?
Right. Sure.
He had one elite player in Darius Slay, and then he had some good players. Javon Hargrave was good. Sweat was good. He lost Brandon Graham. I mean, this year the talent level is just higher on that side of the football. So it's kind of like offense and defense. You can, like, let's really judge Jonathan Gannon now that he has talent, and on offense, let's really judge Jalen Hurts because now he has a lot of talent.
Exactly. I think those are the guys that are under the most pressure going into this upcoming season. Two more things for it. One quick one here in 10 to 20 seconds or less. I know you always like to find that guy who is the under-the-radar guy. You love to do a story on him. You love to follow his career. Perfect example you gave me years ago was Jason Peters. Oh, you look at Jason Peters, undrafted guy who was playing tight end that became a Hall of Fame tackle or left tackle in the offensive line, all that stuff. Is there a guy that you're watching right now that has sparked your interest early? Who are you watching right now at OTAs, Dave Zangaro?
One of them is a fun player, Britton Covey from Utah. He's a weird. He's 25, so he's older, but he had like Mormon missions. So a lot of the Mormons, when they end up in the NFL, they're a little older because they've gone on these mission trips. So
Chad Lewis would be an example, I believe, with the Eagles.
I believe so. Yeah. So sometimes they're just older. So he's a 25-year-old guy. He's tiny. I mean, he's a few pounds heavier than the kicker. I mean, he's a tiny little guy, but he was an electric return man in college. And I don't know if he's going to make the roster, but the idea of having an improvement at the return spots is intriguing to me. And he might just be too small. Maybe it won't work. But if we're looking right now for like candidates to be that training camp hero, he's one of them. I think he could wow some people.
Okay, that's one of them. Now I have to ask you a pop culture question because everyone's talking about this movie Hustle with Adam Sandler. I know you have been scouring OTAs and all that stuff. Have you gotten a chance to see it yet?
I haven't. I want to.
Oh, okay. I'm going to show you.
It's on my list.
I'm going to show you one clip because it's just a great movie. That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part of the movie. And Adam Sandler can turn that guy into a basketball player. I mean, he can turn so many people into all-stars, my friend. It's really incredible. I hope you see the rest of it.
Can Adam Sandler didn't turn that guy into a basketball. Adam Sandler found a blue chipper on a mini hoop. That's there.
For those on the
golly.
For those on the podcast that didn't see that, I yet again got Dave with his own video of dunking on a mini hoop in his home office.
I'll tell you what.
Yes.
I came on and I knew, I was like, he's going to play that clip. And then I got excited thinking about the new movie because I do want to see it. And then you tricked me.
I tricked you. I got you. Dave Zangaro. It's such a selfish joke, but it's the definition of a selfish joke. It's just for me. Guys, make sure you guys are listening to our other friend, Ruben Frank, and our current friend, Dave Zangaro, on the Eagle Eye podcast and all things NBC Sports Philadelphia Eagles related. Go see what Dave has to say, including his latest article, once again, on NBC Sports Philadelphia right now about OTAs and all the observations from our good friend, Dave Zangaro. Dave, always great catching up with you. I'm sure we'll talk to you as the season approaches. Best of luck covering all the rest of this Eagles roster and offseason.
Thanks, pal.
Absolutely. Dave Zangaro joining us on the Ruffman Orthopedics guest line. You're awesome. So I don't know if I've ever told you the backstory of that video, but Dave sent me that video of him dunking. I don't know. Whatever it was. It took me a month to respond. He texted me about something else, and in that text message chain, I go, oh my, I responded to what he said and he said, oh my God, how did I miss this video of you dunking? I'm so sorry. This is incredible. And then we've exchanged some laughs about it. And then I think I've played it every time he's been on the show. So just try to keep tradition alive, folks. I'm a big fan of tradition. Dave's got me even more excited for the football season. I know everything on the roster, everything on paper It's supposed to just be exciting in general, but just seeing and hearing from another perspective, someone not the head coach of the team, but I believe, an objective and solid, very good. I think Dave does a wonderful job. Eagles reporter talking about the maturation process of this team and Jalen Hurts, most importantly. And Dave, of course, joined us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Hey, maybe your knee gave out. Maybe you tweaked your back or you popped your shoulder, and now you can't do what you used to do. Well, that's just part of getting older, right? Wrong. Try the Rothman approach to orthopedics, okay? It's here to get you back to being you, back to running, back to working, back to playing, back to living your life. Definitely said working twice. But back to running, walking, working, and playing. Back to living your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available, you can start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Let me tell you about the amazing people at Versus Game. Folks, if you haven't seen this logo yet, this teal and reddish logo yet, that's the Versus Game logo. Look for that on the App Store, or the Google Play Store. Download that, follow at Farzy Show, follow all our games that we'll be playing on that fine app. It is a great time. Versus Game. You can win some money for yourself, ladies and gentlemen, by simply picking the always binary questions that I'll be asking you, and other hosts will be asking you as well on the Versus Game app. For instance, right now, last week we asked about Joe Girardi. Will he make it to Sunday? He did not. Fired. He was gone. So people want some money off that. They said, no, he will not be back. People right now are being asked about the Flyers and the number 5 overall pick. A lot of trade rumors swirling around. Will the Flyers try to move up? Will they move back? Will they use that pick to get a player right now already established? So right now the question on the Versus Game app that we're asking from the Farzy Show is this. Do you think the Flyers will still have their 5th overall pick by this Sunday at 11:59 p.m.? Yes or no? Yes, they'll have it. No, they won't. Very simple. Very simple games. Yes or no questions. Always binary. Always this or that on the Versus Game app. So jump on. Have yourself a good time. Follow at Farzy Show on the Versus Game app. How about Freestone Farm CBD? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Brand new partner of the Farzy Show. The best CBD brand. Freestone Farm CBD. They have farms. They farm it themselves, ladies and gentlemen, with all organic inputs, and they offer some of you the best education that you can get on what they're growing and where they're growing it. Their premium hemp flower is grown right in the Garden State. Check out FreestoneFarmCBD.com. And if I don't have your attention yet, how about this? You like CBD? You want to try CBD? How about you try CBD for 20% off by using promo code Farzy at FreestoneFarmCBD.com. That's promo code Farzy at FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Check out FreestoneFarmCBD.com right now. You'll absolutely love what they have to offer. Their menu is insane. Tropical tasting Bayox that clocks into the chart-topping 24.1%, and Super CBD, which is half Hindu Kush, and 21%. The genetics of these guys, what they're providing, it doesn't get any better than this. Like I said, they grow all their premium hemp flower in the Garden State. There's absolutely nothing synthetic from farm to jar. And after harvest, they carefully preserve all the plant compounds with a perfect 3-month cure. Just one look or smell of Freestone Farm CBD, you'll know it's CBD done right. 20% off at checkout with promo code Farzy at FreestoneFarmsCBD.com. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsStation.com. Now it's time for the chat check, everybody. I see it's a packed house for the chat check. Kevin, Dan, Kevin again, Mullet. Dan, what's going on? Dan says hello to everybody. What up, guys? Loving the Farzy Show. It's the bomb. In parentheses, just wanted Mark to have to read that. Well, challenge accepted. It's the bomb. There's a couple of the phrases that I don't know why, things that we just don't say anymore. That we like the humdinger. Like, we need to bring it back. That's a real humdinger. Like, there's things that just sound just amazing to me. John Cheeseborough, what's going on? Nice to see you. John declaring, I have returned. Yes, you have, John. Nice to have you back. Our first live show was just yesterday. Back from my Euro trip. Well, good to see you. Everyone's happy to see John, as they should be. Mullet. It's a schwar bomb, baby. I love that too. It's catchy. John Axelband, what's going on? Darian, how are you? Ooh, all right. John brings up McNabb. A little bit of a hot button issue as of late with Deshaun Jackson saying that basically didn't have full support of Donovan McNabb while he was here in Philadelphia. You know, here's what has been unfortunate. Donovan McNabb is the winningest quarterback in Eagles history. He's the best quarterback in Eagles history. I wish there was more reasons to like him, which is really odd to say that. Because during his playing career, he got into a bit of a tussle with Terrell Owens, and Terrell Owens is a guy that most people in Philadelphia looked at as a guy that represented them. He played with passion, played with a broken leg and the whole thing, and Donovan played on a broken ankle. And there was a period where this city was falling in love with Donovan McNabb, and that ankle, that broken ankle game that he had against the Arizona Cardinals, and he was something like 20 for 24 with like 2 or 3 touchdowns, and he just had an incredible guy. This guy's tough. He played through injury and the whole thing. And he did, and the city was really starting to fall in love with him. And then I think they lose another NFC championship game. The whole debacle with T.O. happens. Before that, they lose the Super Bowl. They're slow as hell in the biggest drive of Donovan McNabb's life. The black-on-black crime comments get mentioned by Sam McNabb, Donovan's father, and Donovan backs it up by saying, yeah, it is like that. And then that makes the city erupt with anger. And who the hell does this guy think he is? And then from that point on, no one ever thought Donovan wanted to win as much as the city wanted to win. And nobody thought Donovan hated losing as much as he liked winning. And all these things. Look, you could say bottom line is he didn't win. Yeah, absolutely it's the bottom line. But why they didn't win is the bigger story. Yes, Donovan was looked at as a guy that could always get him to the dance but wouldn't dance with them. He'll take you to the prom, but he'll be a wallflower. He won't be any fun. And that's kind of the MO that he got here in Philadelphia. And as a guy who's interviewed Donovan a number of times, as a guy who obviously grew up here, a guy who's been talking to Eagles fans his entire life, that's just the perception he has with most people. He's not adored. He should be, because he's the best quarterback we've had. But people, with Donovan, it's hard to find an athlete where what he didn't do is more highlighted than what he did do. And it's just, it really goes to show you that, you know, numbers never lie, but they do deceive. You look at all his numbers, they're fantastic, of course, and chart topping with the Eagles. But man, the perception of him from this city, the vibes he gave off from this city. You talk about a manager not meshing with a clubhouse in baseball. Donovan, for whatever reason, didn't mesh with this city. A quarterback as good as he was, as winningest quarterback, like I said, so many playoff wins, all that, as great as he was. But what he didn't do is highlighted more than anything. It's an amazing thing, and it's unfortunate because you want the best quarterback in your franchise's history to be beloved. And that's just not the case. And Donovan knows that. I've asked Donovan himself why he thinks that disconnect is there. And he says, I feel like I'm like Eric Lindros, where you were a great player in this city for a lot of years, but for whatever reason, it just fell apart. He's not far off. He's not far off. And here's the point I'm trying to make is, to get back to the Deshaun Jackson thing. Since McNabb's playing days here, there's been no aha moment of, oh, that explains Donovan. Now we love him. Now we get it. Now we understand. It's only negative. It's stuff with T.O. still comes out about how they didn't like each other, and Donovan was jealous of the attention that T.O. got. That T.O. was the one that got tired in the Super Bowl. Stories about Donovan partying the night before the Super Bowl instead of, being tucked in bed nicely. Stories come out now from Deshaun Jackson about how they didn't go. Like, there's no story that comes out that helps Donovan's case, is my point. And that is unfortunate. And John, you just reminded me to talk about Donovan. But John's point, those are my words. These are John's words. I think we have an idea of what direction they're going to go in by Thanksgiving. There are no excuses. He's really got a good line and has weapons that Donovan could have only dreamed of. You're absolutely right. These are better weapons than Donovan had, 1,000%. What? Dan, you too have Family Guy brain. Dan Schwartz, is there any way we can get a video of Mark staring outward with an American flag blowing behind him and proud to be an American playing? I think a video like that can make us all feel better. Do you want my flesh-colored shirt the one I have on right now, as I do that? Would that make it better? John Cheeseburger, I figured out Joe Girardi hates sunshine. Joe Girardi hates puppies. Joe Girardi hates music, unless it's just Lawrence Welk talking. John, I don't think you're wrong. Mally, what's up, Mally? Joe Girardi told them he hates Freestone Farm CBD, and the only bro bomb said, that's it. Fire this man. Nobody hates Freestone Farm CBD. That is outlandish. Ray Fitzgerald, I think it's time to tell Didi Gregorius you're the backup now. He's not the future. I wouldn't mind that. Mally says, for a second, I thought it was OnlyFans because of Mark's color shirt. Was about to say, why doesn't Mark have nipples? I got nipples, Mally. Can you milk me? Anyway. Shirtless Farzy Fridays with weather included. Dan? Not a bad idea. Sirianni looks like he's never thought he didn't want to share, says John Cheeseborough. Steichen looks like he can't wait to tell you how mayonnaise is made. Some of us, oh my goodness. Scusi. Some of us know it as chicken yogurt. Gross. Kyle, what's up? Fuji. What's happening? April, good morning. Family Guy Brain, a.k.a. Pothead. Thank you, Mally. Tyvita, no spoilers. Good morning, Tyvita. Jim Grassmeter. April, college planning equals praying the kids get scholarships. Yee. With you there. Mopar, good morning, fellow weirdos. What's up, Mopar? Tyvita, what's going on? Saying hi to John, Mopar, John, Dan. April. He was a fantastic player, but off the field, hard pass. Donovan didn't love us. Number five did, which is 2 poops and a pee. Thank you, Dan, for the anal math. All right. No shirt preferred, Mark, but flesh-colored is acceptable. Thank you. Fuji, number 5 will always love you. How about that line just going down in infamy, man? That line will live on in infamy. Appreciate everybody. You guys are great. That's a chat check, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars. SkyMotorcars.com. Zach Eflin on the bump for the Phillies. 2-4 with a 3.88 ERA. He's facing a guy who's pretty good at baseball, Corbin Burns, who every time I say his name, I have to say Corbin Burnson in my head. He's 3-3 on the season with a 2.50 ERA. Obviously, a righty taking the ball for the Brewers today. Hey, Phillies looking for their 7th win in a row. They got their second 10-0 win yesterday in less than a week? Keep the offense going. Now's the right time to face this guy. Let's hope they win again. Phillies got the 10-0 win, like I said yesterday. They're back at it today. 2:05 start time today, by the way, in Milwaukee. So make sure you adjust your schedules accurately. Celtics, ladies and gentlemen, take a 2-1 series lead in the NBA Finals. Absolutely unreal game from the Celtics last night. Paul Pierce was in the building last night. It was an insane game. The incredible thing was Steph Curry kept coming back in the game after rolling his ankle. Said it was very similar to what he had done before, but he scored 31 points for the Golden State Warriors last night. And there was one stat I took down yesterday during last night's game that came out that I wanted to make sure I conveyed on the show today. And I hate to say it's with the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, second duo, 25 years of age or younger, to combine for 1,000 points in the postseason. That's insane. Only the second duo. I didn't see who was the first. Sorry. That's the show today, folks. Oh, we went overtime a little bit. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow, hopefully talking about a Phillies sweep of the Milwaukee Brewers and tattooing Corbin Burns. off the mound today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Jim Hyde, producer program, did a phenomenal job. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com, coming to you from the Steven Singer Studios. Thanks, everybody. Great catching up. Talk to you guys again tomorrow. See ya.